After 7 long years, The Boys has finally come to an end. And just like the rest of the fan base, I'm just as bitter about it as everyone else. Not that it's over, I mean, it definitely was a long time coming for its end to come. And quite honestly, I think it should have ended much earlier than 5 seasons and 7 years. Because I feel like this show stretched itself far too thin than it needed to. The advantage that the first 3 seasons have is that they have something to work off from. They have stepping stones that are thick enough to create decent enough stories that are not just there to pad the runtime. Although there are some moments that are way too graphic and way too sexual for some reason, and that they have to justify the TV MA rating. Like, there has to be graphic sex, and I'm just like, does it need to? Because I feel like it takes away more from the time and more so pads the runtime as opposed to just adding any more substance. But for the most part, the first season does have substance. It's just the boys being rebellious against the evil corporation Vought while they're trying to infiltrate any experiments that might be happening under the shadows of the actual corporation that seems to be in the limelight for all the good stuff, like with the Seven. They're posing as superheroes, but in reality they're just posers with superpowers. But Butcher's main goal is to get to Homelander because of what Homelander did to Butcher's wife. He basically raped her and killed her, but only finds out that she's still alive and she birthed a son. Pretty interesting stuff. The second season, after Vought and the Seven infiltrate a bunch of super terrorists, they try to take it down in what Homelander calls saving America. All while Butcher is trying to protect his wife and the newborn son from Homelander so that he doesn't get his hands on him in the tragic case of him being raised by him. Of course, the boy rejects him, rightfully so, because of how he treats him. And unfortunately, despite him trying to defend himself from Homelander, he ends up killing Becca as well, leading us to season 3, where he comes up with a new strategy to fight fire with fire. Queen Maeve comes in and gives him a substance called Temp V. Temp V being the smaller version of Compound V, which is what they use to create superheroes, whereas it gives you temporary superpowers. And they use that as well as the help of Soldier Boy to help take down Homelander. But despite having so many confrontations, disagreements with each other, the plan ends up falling flat. See, all that I explained very thoroughly, or thoroughly enough, because I can remember it very fondly just from a short glance, because those are the most memorable moments in this entire series. Season 4 is the opposite of that. A lot goes on in that show, but the only thing I remember is the fact that they're trying to create a virus or something to kill off all soups. The rest of it is just filler. It's all filler. Multi-million-dollar filler season. Like, if you've seen filler episodes in anime, those get pretty annoying too. But what about a filler season of a show? Like, it's ridiculous. How can you let this go on for this long? It's like Amazon is just milking this series for as long as they can because they want this show to keep going, because they don't want it to end, because they don't want their viewership to go away from Amazon Prime. But they know that has to come to an end. And when it finally does hit season 5, they do finally close the curtains and realize that it does need to come to an end. Season 5 wasn't exactly season 4. Season 5 was just a tiny bit better, but not by much. It sucks because I really wanted to like this season, and I really want to be positive about all this because I really like this series, but I just can't. This is so disappointing, especially when it came to this series finale, like the very last episode. Let's talk about it. So after the boys have their small little funeral for Frenchie, they execute their final plan to strike down Homelander with a powerful energy beam. Meanwhile, Homelander at the White House breaks up the Seven and prepares himself to be crowned as the second coming of Jesus after killing the president. But the boys break into the White House all the way to the Oval Office, bringing us to the final showdown between Butcher and Homelander. This leads us to the final fight scene that is a huge step down from the fight scene from Herogasm in season 3. That fight scene was amazing. Like, that's probably the biggest highlight of the entire series. Fight scenes in the series weren't exactly its strong suits, especially with the annoying quick cuts. It finally ends with Homelander getting hit by the energy beam, causing him to lose his powers, leaving him as just a man. Homelander gets rightfully beaten to a pulp and brought down to his knees begging for his life. Now, those sequence of events aren't exactly like horribly done, but they're incredibly rushed. Like, this all happens in one episode. This could have happened at least in a course of maybe 3 or 4 episodes. Like, I get they're trying to find the V1 because if Homelander gets to it first, he becomes immortal and pretty much unstoppable. But if the boys got to it first, they could have destroyed it or just stopped Homelander from becoming immortal. And like I said, they failed at doing that. Again, that entire fight scene that happened at the end, was very disappointing. Not just because of its quick cuts, but because of the fact that it ended and started so quickly and so early in the episode. This could have been like maybe a couple episodes here or there. And we already had 4 seasons of a build-up, so why not just get straight to the point? We know what both of these characters are capable of, so I don't know, just get on with it. Homelander gets killed by Butcher, but Butcher isn't done yet. He still wants to eradicate all the Supes to potentially stop another Homelander from rising to the ranks. But Huey attempts to stop him, leading him to pull the trigger on Butcher, ending his life. The series ends with everyone going their separate ways. Again, that all happens in one episode. This could have been broken down at least a bit more, give us more depth and more grit when it comes to the series. But I get that they're trying to push the fact that it's a satire, but again, the satire is stretched far too thin. It needs to find its ending a lot more suitable, and this wasn't it. Better than season 4, but honestly, we could have completely skipped season 4. That could have just been literally an email. We didn't really miss a damn thing. What makes it more tragic is just how everything ends. With such a great build-up from the first 3 seasons, season 5 only solidified why it didn't need to be this long in the first place. I'm not sure how long the comic book series was, but with the material that the Amazon decided to work with, it clearly shows that they were running on fumes because they had plenty of material to work with. But like I said, it's tragic. I expected way more. We all did. And we were all let down. But I guess we can only hope that their new show, Vought Rising, will fare much better. Until then, we'll just have to wait and see.